Salute to all the Patreon members. I want to thank you guys for your support. It really means a lot to me. Salute to all the subscribers. I want to thank you guys for your support. It really means a lot. Check out the links in the description box below for the Patreon page, for the Facebook page. Click on both of those links and join. All right, I'm not gonna make a Patreon video tonight. I'm gonna make a Patreon video early in the morning. So by the time you guys wake up, I should have it already done, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. All right. I probably won't go live for a couple of days, right? But all the Patreon members, they're going to be well fed. So you don't want to miss what's going on Patreon for the next week. Link is in the description box below. All right. It only costs $5 to become a Patreon member. So you don't want to miss that. Let's get into this. David Justice. All right. He recently went viral the other day on the Shade Room is where I saw it. That's where it picked up traction. But he went on All the Smoke podcast. Anyways, hold on. Before I get into that, if you don't know who David Justice is, because I've seen a lot of Zennials and even some millennials also who was talking down on this man as if he was a slouch. Nothing about David Justice is a slouch, okay? 3-time All-Star, 2-time World Series champion. He won a World Series. He won the World Series in 1995 with the Atlanta Braves and another one with the New York Yankees in 2000. All right. He was National League's Rookie of the Year in 1990. So he won Rookie of the Year. ALCS MVP. Okay. And then 2-time Silver Slugger Award in 1993 and 1997. In 1997, all right, David Justice, his batting average was a 329. I don't think y'all understand how high that is. Okay, the highest ever recorded batting average in a season was 366, and that was from Ty Cobb. And that was like early 1900s when, most games weren't even on television. It was, it was on the radio. Footage was in black and white. We're talking about that far back. You didn't really have real thorough pictures at that time, right? So 97, David Justice had a batting average of 329, and he had 33 home runs that year. So this guy isn't a slouch by any stretch of the imagination, all right? Now, Halle Berry, we know Halle Berry to be dubbed as 90s fine. When you think of 90s fine, the first name that comes to mind is Halle Berry. Everybody else falls in line behind Halle Berry when it comes to 90s fine. All right. Now, 90s fine isn't what you see today with the hydrogel ass, the stuffed breasts, right? The long fake hair, the fake lips, the fake cheekbones, the fake hips. We're talking about natural beauty. When you was dubbed one of the most beautiful women in the world, everything was natural about you during those times. Okay? You were born that way. You woke up like that. You had minimal makeup, right? Nothing fake on a woman's body at that time during 90s fine. 90s fine, if you Google 90s fine, or if you look on TikTok about 90s fine, you'll see all the women that people mention. And Halle Berry is at the top of the list. All right. But 92, she was still like trying to make a name for herself in Hollywood. All right. 92, she was still trying to find her lane. You know what I'm saying? So David Justice, 59 years old. They're both born in the same year, 1966. Both of them are 5 life paths, if you know what that means. David Justice got on All the Smoke podcast. And All the Smoke podcast is ran by Matt Barnes and Steven Jackson. Steven Jackson wasn't there to interview David Justice, so it's just Matt Barnes and David Justice. Okay. I watched that clip that went viral. Okay. And after that clip went viral, people didn't really watch that. And you only have to watch that segment. That segment was probably like 7 to 10 minutes. All right. But when I read the comment section about what he said, the little clips that they took and ran with it, because you know how snakish and conniving the Shade Room is, people in the comment section were just shitting on David Justice as if he was a slouch. All right. You could tell these were people who don't know anything about baseball. They weren't alive at that time, and probably they're zennial, just cracking jokes on the internet. Now, we can honestly say that Halle Berry's name to this day still rings bells. David Justice, not really. David Justice, he had his time. It came and went. All right. He came and went. He retired in 2002. All right. But he's a Hall of Famer. All right. Atlanta Braves Hall of Famer. 305 home runs. All right. 929 runs, 1,571 hits, 280 doubles, 24 triples, 305 home runs, 903 walks, right? And he played 1,610 games. He is not a slouch. He was on All the Smoke podcast, and Matt Barnes asked him a question. This is how I could tell that Matt Barnes is a good interviewer. This is how I could tell Matt Barnes is a good interviewer. Matt Barnes, he didn't say, hey, tell us about the time you were dating and married to Halle Berry. No. Matt Barnes said, and I'm paraphrasing what he said something like, being in the media, being, a baseball player in the media and the public eye, how were you able to balance your personal life with your baseball life and be able to, maintain sanity and balance that in the media? Right? Great question. I'm paraphrasing what he said. And that led David Justice to then talk about Halle Berry. He talked about Halle Berry on his own. And then when he mentioned her, he was like, okay. Matt Barnes, like, oh, okay. I wasn't saying any names, but, let's go ahead. So that showed me that Matt Barnes is a good interviewer. In an interview, David Justice talked about how, I think they had only been dating for 5 months in 92. And then Halle Berry proposed to him. All right. A lot of people in the comment section didn't catch that. The clip that they took was him saying how, we're married and stuff like that. And after the honeymoon phase, I'm kind of looking at her for her. And, he's like, I'm a Midwestern guy. And, it's just me and my mother growing up. So my mindset was more of a woman of a traditional role, like cooking, cleaning, and somebody who's nurturing and motherly. And he was like, she's not any of that. And so he's like, well, could I picture myself having children with this person? And he's like, I said to myself, no, I can't. She's not motherly. She's not a wife, right? Even though I'm married to her, she's not a wife. So I had to end the marriage, right? And then he's talked about, had I known about therapy, we probably would have lasted, and then he kind of regret the way he broke it off with her. He cut her off the same way I break up with women, right? Some people say it's a Virgo thing. I don't know. It's me. I detach cold. And the reason why I detach cold is because, you know, if I break up with you, or if you're if I considered you a friend or an associate or an acquaintance, and I never want to speak to you again, you earned it. All right. More than likely, you earned it. And it's kind of like there's nothing I could say to you at that moment until I gave you enough chances, because it's kind of like I see that people aren't perfect. I'm giving you room to, be apologetic or take accountability or change for the better. But if it's like I can't get through to you, then it gets to a point where I'm like, hey, like I got to cut this person off, and I don't want to see or speak to them, because it's like I put in so much effort into this person. I poured so much love into this person that this person didn't even appreciate the love that I gave them. And it would probably bother me too much to see, hey, this person just move on, is what people in the public eye like to do, right? They have a name, they want to get over somebody, and they have plenty of fans that are civilians and people who are celebrities that would love to be with them. And then you just jump into a relationship a week later, 2 weeks later, because this person's there to try to distract you and to get your mind off of that last person. But it doesn't really work the way you think it is, right? Then you start comparing this person to the last person, and you don't really like the person. You're just going through the motions, right? So he said that, but he said all that in that segment, but in the clip, they just said how she didn't cook or clean, wasn't motherly. I couldn't see myself having children with her. Then they cut it off. In the comment section, it was just nonstop, people nonstop, like going in on this man. Hold on, I'll read the comments for you. I got time. All right, I probably got to go back because the Shade Room, they post up like damn near 100 damn near 100 posts a day. All right. I want to read some of these comments for you. Oh, I got to go back even further. I can't find it. All right, so while I'm looking for it, basically the comments were saying, why was somebody that wealthy cook for you anyways? Like, who the hell are you? She's wealthy, she's the prize. Who the hell does he think he is? Like, it was comments like that. Here's another one I'm going to read. This guy, he said the media just made this guy relevant. Also, why should the provider cook for you, dude? Another person was saying, I was thinking the same thing. Who is he anyway? What a loser. All right. As a matter of fact, let me read it from a YouTube channel. I wonder if David did fatherly things like cut the grass and change the oil. You don't marry Halle Berry and expect her to cook and clean. When exes see you living your best life and can't stand it. He still thinks about it. He low-key still wants her. Nobody expects Halle Berry to cook or clean but him. This woman was a whole ass movie star and he expected her to cook and clean. Please be for real. Um, He got sick and tired of people saying, hey, you're the guy that fumbled Halle Berry, and had to make up his own narrative. My guy, you were with Halle Berry and you expected her to cook and clean? Hire a maid. He wanted a damn maid. Halle's career was taking off. He is so full of it. A Halle Berry doesn't cook or clean. You get a chef and a maid for the house. So you pretty much get where people were coming from in the content or in the comment section. Most of these were women that don't know anything about baseball, women that probably weren't even old enough or alive at that time. You still know Halle Berry now, but you weren't alive at the time to know much about this couple. They were kind of the it couple at the time. But when I was reading the comment section, I said, man, in 1992, like Halle Berry didn't really have, like, she wasn't really sitting on money like that. She didn't really have paper like that in 92. She was still like finding her way within Hollywood at the time, but she wasn't really sitting on a bag like that in 92. Like, I'm like, what are they talking about? I mean, she was Halle Berry, but she wasn't Halle Berry in 92. You see what I'm saying? And in the interview, David Justice said, yeah, at that time, he was like, I was paying for everything. Halle Berry didn't have any money. He was like, she didn't have anything. He's like, I paid for everything. He was like, the house, and they had a house outside of Atlanta. What's it called? Sandy Springs, Sandy Brooks or whatever. He was like, I bought the house over there. I paid for everything. Like trips, clothes, jewelry, food, you name it. Like he's like, I paid for everything. Right. And he was like, at the time, he wasn't really that mature about relationships. He only had one relationship. I think he said he only been in like one relationship before her. All right. So his interview confirmed what I was thinking. I was like, man, she wasn't really sitting on no real money like that. And she proposed to him. Let me say this again. She got the ring. She proposed to him. 5 months into the relationship. They got married on New Year's Day, 1993. Right? They said they split in 1996, and then the divorce was finalized in 1997. Okay. You know why women are upset in the comment section? The reason why they're upset is because, and David Justice, for the longest, I thought he was like Latino or something like that. But David Justice, I'm like, with a name like that, somebody's probably black and another parent might be white. Right. And when I heard him speak, I'm like, oh, okay, he black. When I heard his interview, I'm like, nah, he black. All right. But a lot of women are upset because brothers have a preference, right? Women in the comments section are upset. More than likely, these women are upset because they are single themselves, or they're in a relationship that they really don't want to be in, or they're not really too happy that they're in. It's just kind of going with the flow of whoever they're dealing with at the time that's convenient, right? And keeping the options open for somebody better. Women were going off in the comment section because reality struck yet again, saying your looks don't mean anything to men. Men want traditional women. Okay. I'm paying for everything. Remember, David paid for everything. David Justice paid for everything. I want something in return. You just think, oh, because you consider one of the most beautiful women in the world at the time, and I'm sure, she wasn't turning down sex, right? You think because you're cute, well, you think because you're gorgeous and you're giving me sex, that's all you got to do. No, right? People in the comments saying, okay, he fumbled Halle Berry. How does somebody fumble somebody if they let them go? You don't fumble somebody that you let go. Okay. It wasn't like he was out here acting a fool, cheating, and then she ended up leaving him. No, he's like, you're not a wife. You're not it. And let me tell you what happened after that. Because let me tell you what happened after that. Right? Because they're saying how you fumble Halle Berry. Because Halle Berry's dating life after that, it's been shit the whole time. This is a 60-year-old woman who still like can't get it together. This is what hit women so hard in the comment section. The most beautiful woman in the world, arguably one of the most beautiful women in the world, still can't keep a man. Because the trajectory of both of their lives is Halle Berry's dating life sucked after that. Nobody wanted to stay with her, right? She's with somebody now. I think they've been together like a year or 2 years or whatever. But you still, how does the most beautiful woman in the world and she can't keep a man? But guess what? The trajectory of her dating life went to shit. And look what the trajectory of his dating life went to. After he broke up and got a divorce from Halle Berry, he ended up meeting a Latina, right? And they had 3 beautiful children. Look at that. He has a family. He's been married for 24 years. I don't know when exactly they met, right? They probably, you can arguably say they was probably dating for at least a year or two, maybe even longer, before they got married. So he probably met her not too long after he divorced Halle Berry. This man hit the lottery, if you ask me. He has a stable home, family life, right? All 3 of my kids, I got 3 kids, they're all from my wife, and my wife, we're still married, right? He got him a Latina. What's her name? Rebecca Villalobos. He got him a Rebecca, right? Hold on, let me show you some more. Let me show you something else. Brother got him a Rebecca. All right, this is when the kids were younger. 3 kids, all by my wife, and we're still together. Hold on, let me show you something else. Let me show you something else. Let me show you a picture. Hold on, gotta adjust it. And hold on 1 second. That's him and his wife. I don't know what year this was taken, but mind you, like David Justy looks great for his age. He's like 50, he's almost 60. He's 59 years old. I don't know what year he took this though. Right? He got him a Latina. Look good. Held him down. Still holding him down. Right? What else? Hold on. Let's look at the Instagram page. Right? Happy Mother's Day to the most loving mother on earth. What a blessing you are to our family. You see this word right here? Family. This post was from 2 years ago, right? So he was like, what? 57 in this picture. I'd have never guessed he was 57, right? That's his wife and his daughter. Beautiful picture. His wife and his son. His wife and his other son. His wife and his daughter. You see, the thing is, ladies, when You think your looks is just good enough to get you by, and you don't have to be motherly. You don't think you have to be nurturing. You don't think you have to play a role and cater to a man's needs and wants. Guess what? You won't be able to take photos like this, right? You won't be able to take photos like this at 59 years old and say, hey, 23 years in our marriage, thank you for blessing me with our family. You can't take photos like that. It don't matter how fucking fine you are, you think you are. Hold on, let me put this picture back on the screen right here. Right? Because Halle Berry can't flex that on the internet. Halle Berry can't flex a family on the internet. She can flex her kids, but the kids, the men that you had your kids by, they don't want nothing to do with you. As a matter of fact, both of them got you on child support. This woman is paying child support for two different men, right? After David Justice, like, and here's the thing. When a man says, because I'm pretty sure he was at least mature enough to have the conversation with her and say, hey, you know, I'm looking for somebody who's more traditional, cooking, cleaning, or whatever, right? You know, I'm paying for everything here. At least you could do is like be more nurturing and caring in the house, you know, show your motherly skills in the house, right? You probably had that talk, and women, it goes through one ear and out the other with some of these women. And really, it's not only they're saying this. See, women think that besides them thinking, you know, whatever it is they think when you're saying that, it's like, he wants me to do this for him. No. When a man says something like that, he's trying to help you in the long run. Because, like I said, if you look at her dating record, right after David Justice, I think she was dating Wesley Snipes for a brief minute. And it was alleged, it was put out there, and you can read it in articles or whatever. It was alleged that she got the brakes beaten off of her so bad that she went partially deaf in one ear. Then she got with Eric Benet after that. And she was married to Eric Benet for a brief minute. Right? Hold on, let's look this up. And I remember the marriage between her and Eric Benet. Eric Benet, and you know, in the comments section, all these women talking about she's the table, wealthy, most beautiful woman in the world. They was only married for like 4 years, right? Eric Benet, she married him in 2001, divorced in 2005, right? Same year David Justice got married, 2001, right? But Eric Benet, I'm pretty sure, okay, this is Halle Berry, but after a while, it's just kind of like, hey, this is all right. I'm with her. You remember, a man could be married to you. He could be dating you. He could be in the beginning stages of you, you know, being with you. After the novelty wears off about who you are, then it turns into, now it's them being objective, and they say, hey, look, this ain't no wife. You could still be married to somebody. It's like, hey, this ain't a wife. As a matter of fact, your looks is a hindrance to you. Your looks, let's say you look really, really good, right? You're beautiful. Your looks could be your biggest crutch. Your looks is like an anchor that holds you back, because after the novelty doesn't wear off as quick as somebody who's average, right? You'll find out where you stand with somebody if you're average looking within a couple days, within a couple weeks, within a couple months, less than a year. Unfortunately, it's like somebody who looks that good, we're talking about 90s fine, that the novelty probably doesn't wear off in a couple years. But in David Justice's case, he stood by it, but he said the novelty wore off within like 6 months after they got married. Eric Benet probably said the same thing. It's just like, okay, this ain't no wife. You know what he did? That man slept with everybody but her at a moment in time in their marriage. I mean, I heard he cheated on her with dozens of women. He cheated on her with a lot of women. Like, I remember there was an interview about it, and she looked like she was gonna faint. The amount of women that he knocked down while they was married. It's like, hey, look, you're not a wife. I ain't practicing sexual discipline with somebody like you no more. You're not a wife, right? Then you get with Olivier Martinez, a French actor. Okay, you would think Martinez, he's probably Spaniard, or, you know, and maybe his father, maybe he has a Spaniard father or whatever, took on the last name, but French, right? Got a baby by him. That marriage only lasted 3 years. Got you on child support. Then you got with Gabriel Aubrey. Gabriel, wait. Hold on. I'm trying to see. Did she have a baby with Gabriel? Hold on, let me see. 1 second. Okay, she had a baby with Gabriel Aubrey. Yeah, she had a baby with Gabriel Aubrey. And in June 2014, a Superior Court ruling called for Halle Berry to pay Aubrey $16,000 a month in child support, as well as a retroactive payment of $115,000 and a sum of $300,000 for Aubrey's attorney's fees. Okay, so you got finessed by a Canadian. I mean, this man don't even have a picture. What's wrong with my internet? Okay. Paul's not a bad looking guy. Not a bad looking guy. You had a baby by him. And when gave birth to the daughter in 2008. So their daughter is like 17 years old right now. March of 2008 is 17. So you still got 1 more year of child support payments, and so you paying Gabriel $16,000 a month. All right, Olivier Martinez. They don't have an amount here. Berry and Martinez married in a private ceremony in France on July 13, 2013. Their son was born October 13th, so he's only 12, well, 11 right now. They announced a divorce in 2015, and it was finalized in December 2016. It didn't even last 2 years. In August 2023, issues dealing with custody and child support were settled. Okay. And I remember she took to the internet to vent her frustration. Now she with Van Hunt, right? This was like a pandemic relationship. All right, he's 55 years old, so he's younger than Halle Berry. So she found her a new fool. She went back black and found her a new fool. All right. And she's not going to marry him. Right. They just kind of going through the motions with each other. Here's the thing, man. women were upset in the comment section because it doesn't matter how fine you are, how beautiful you are, how fine you think you are, right? At the end of the day, men are still traditional minded. We like so if somebody along the lines of your dating life told you, hey, look, especially somebody who was good to you and cared about you and said, hey, look, you know, I need you to be more nurturing, more communicative, right? More um less selfish, more considerate, like I don't know why you have such a hard exterior or whatever. You seem a bit emotionless. Like you need to work on that. That's a sign for you to probably get some therapy and work on that with your man because, you know, Carlos Miller said it best. You can get another man, but you'll never find a new one. And you look at her dating life, all her marriages only lasted for like 2 years. It was only good for like 2 years, 3 years, and they wanted to get the fuck away from her. Right? I've always heard that she was crazy. So, and then it's kind of like, at some point while you're going through all this, you probably go back to when that one person told you, like, hey, you need to be more this. And it might have went through one ear and out the other. You might have said, hey, the hell does he know? Right? I ain't doing this for no man. Right? Well, it's probably best for you to get with women if you feel that way. Because most men, they want something too from women. Right? You think, well, I am giving him something. I'm giving him me. I'm giving him sex. No. Right? Because if a man were to dare say, well, she got me, I'm giving her sex, right? Women would, especially if you said this on a public platform, you would be canceled, right? You would have to make a public apology. You would have to donate to a battered woman's organization. You would have to do the most to get back in women's good graces, and they'll never let that down. All right. But men, it's like we're supposed to just take it when women say that. And yeah, it's disrespectful, but it's like we're supposed to just take it. This man won, right? He found him a beautiful woman. He has 3 kids. He is secure in his marriage and his relationship. He has probably a great relationship with all of his kids. Who won and who lost in this situation? Halle Berry's life has been up and down, up and down, up and down. And at 60 years old, you can't even sit back and just relax with your family and be like, you don't have a family. You have to visit your children. You have to book time in a day to see your children. You have to pay 16,000, well, probably more than that. How much? Let me see. How much is she paying to how much is she? Hold on. Let me type this. Yeah, how much is she paying to Olivier Martinez? It said that she's paying him $8,000 a month. So you're paying $24,000 a month in child support. And Halle Berry pays Olivier Martinez $8,000 per month in child support for their son, Maceo. She also pays him 4.3% of any income she receives above $2 million. So she's paying him well more than $8,000 a month. So let's round it off to 30,000. You're paying damn near $30,000 a month to 2 different men. At some point in time, it's like you got to tell yourself, man, I wish I would have listened to my first husband. But, you know, Halle Berry, she's born on what, August 14th? She's born on August 14th. So, I mean, she's hardworking, right? She's lucky. She's been lucky throughout her life. You know, looks, that's where the 14 comes in. She's creative, pragmatic, very imaginative, right? But her negative character traits is like overly impulsive, thoughtless, and stubborn based on her birthday, right? And when it comes to men, it's like a lot of women, especially brothers, it's like a lot of women just become very, very stubborn. And then it gets to a point where it's like, man, I can't do this no more. They don't care how good you look, right? When they're done, they're done. Men are done. Done. Right? And the thing about it is, man, it's like you'll never find a new one who don't think the same. And that's the thing. Men are kind of, I think now, like this how men are now, it's kind of like, well, who gives a fuck about what women want anymore? They still want shit that's so unobtainable. It's like I don't care to know or I don't care to know what she wants anymore. You see what I'm saying? A lot more men are just blunt with women now about a lot of things. It's like they're not hitting you with a soft blow anymore. Like they're just very blunt now. It's just like, okay, we're tired of the disrespect, right? We're not people you could just walk all over. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be walked all over. I don't want to be walked all over. You want something from men and out of a relationship. I want something from women out of a relationship too. It goes both ways, but when it's just one-sided, then it turns into, hey man, I'm good. I'm out of here. Right? When you're inconsiderate, all you think about is yourself. I bought the house you wanted. I bought the car you wanted. I decorated the home and the way you liked it. And I can't even get you to make me a fucking sandwich. I'm paying for everything. And you can't make me a sandwich? That pains you to do that? You feel that ill towards me. You can't even make me a sandwich? Okay. All right. You know what? And I respect what he did because he did the right thing. This is a man right here. He said, hey, I can't do it. This ain't gonna work. And I gotta cut you off and I'm gonna learn you. Right? Eric Benet didn't do the right thing. Eric Benet was just like, all right, fine. I'm mentally tapped out of this relationship. I'm gonna go ahead and call over some women to the studio and you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna fuck half of Hollywood while I'm still married to Halle Berry. Look at the contrast, right? And this is what I'm saying. It's like men are curious. At one point in time, were curious about what women wanted, right? Okay, I need to have my shit together. I need to do this. I need to smell like this. I need to look presentable. I need to have good conversation. I need to be this, that, and the third in order to attract women and at least get, build up some chemistry, right? My personality, I need to be myself, but I need to be the best version of me in order for a woman to be interested in me. I need to, my paper got to be right. That's men kind of think of things in ways, we're always curious about what women want, but it's so convoluted and, things then got so disrespectful that men don't care anymore. But women, it's like they never cared about, in general, Most women don't care about what men wanted or what men want, or never really cared about what men wanted. They don't have a clue, and a lot of them don't care. But the thing is in many cases, they know, it's just I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Who cares? So, look, you know, you can learn things the easy way. You can make life easy, right? You learn, like, man, some of y'all, you watched kids' televisions when you were young. We had Barney growing up. Barney taught us how to share, how to care, how to clean up, right? Manners. Excuse me. Hey, would you like to try this? Would you like some? Okay, thank you. Please, thank you. Barney taught us that. Your parents should have taught you that. But man, we had media back then that taught us that. These kids, these women that are like, what, 20, 25 now? Man, they weren't raised on what we was raised on. They raised on SpongeBob. You know what I'm saying? They didn't have Cartoon Network. They didn't have the Nickelodeon we had. They raised off of For the Love of Flavor Flav. That's what they was raised on when they was kids. Single mother, never showed, just did what she wanted, never showed a nurturing side at all. So it's kind of tough, man. Because his wife, I don't know, was Halle Berry raised in a two-parent household? Cleveland, Ohio, to Judith Ann, a first-generation American whose mother, Neely Hawkins, came from Liverpool, and Jerome Jesse Berry, an African-American man. Her name was legally changed to Halle Maria Berry at the age of 5. Her parents selected her middle name from Halle's department store. They divorced when Berry was 4 years old. Wow. Gee, would you look at that? And she and her older sister, Heidi Berry Henderson, were raised exclusively by their mother. She has been estranged from her father since childhood, noting in 1992 that she did not even know if he was still alive. Her father was abusive to her mother, and Berry was recalled witnessing her mother being beaten daily, kicked downstairs, and hit in the head with a wine bottle. Berry has also said that she was bullied as a child, and the result, learned how to fight and protect herself. Okay, so you got a mother who skipped over good men to get with street cats, to get with an ass whooper, because the nice guy was too nice to her, so she got an ass whooper. And then she raised them all. Remember I said these women, will get with the streets, right? And then it's like they'll get with a bum, they'll get with somebody dusty, they'll get with an ass whooper, and then take you away from the father at like 3 or 4 years old, before your first memories, before your first childhood memories. So your whole life is just like, well, since I can remember, they've never been together. So here you are raised by a selfish woman. All you know how to be is selfish, and all you know how to do is survive. You don't know how to share with a man. You didn't see a man wake up and put on his tie and shave. You didn't see a woman cooking for your dad. You didn't get to tell your dad, hey, look, dad, look at me, watch this, and do that little dance that you do and show, oh, baby, I love that so much, princess. Do it again. Oh, Oh man, let me record you on my phone. See, that's you. That's you. I'ma save it. I love you. You didn't have your mother didn't choose a man that could do that. Didn't choose a father for you that could do that for you. So all you know how to be is on your own, selfish and conniving, damn near, right? You don't know how to pair bond with a man. That's why it's so important for families. That's why it's kind of like, man, if you in America, most guys don't want to get married and have kids, but if you're gonna give anybody the attention, the time of day, they need to come from a two-parent household. That's how important that is. Because all they're gonna tell you about from a single parent household is abuse and trauma. And it's like, have you gotten any therapy for it? No. Oh, well, there's some of these women that have been through all that trauma and no therapy. Them some of the freakiest bust down women you ever want to meet in your life. They'll give it up to anybody. They give it up on the first date. And then it's like, okay, this ain't a wife, so not because you had sex on the first date, it's just because they don't know how to pair bond with a man. They don't know how to pair bond with you. Then you try to teach them how, and they just like, okay, man, fuck you. Like, so you're like, okay, well, fuck yourself. So, look, I guarantee you that this man right here, so he did the right thing by letting her go. He got him a wife that they're still together, right? There they go. There they go again, right here, right? Been married 24 years. I'm pretty sure she was raised by her mother and her father. And she knows, okay, this is what I saw my mother doing for my father. This is what my mother taught me. You ask a woman today, especially that grew up in a single mother household, what did your mother teach you on how to cater to a man or to how to treat? What did your mother teach you when it came to treating a man? Right? How did your mother teach you how to treat a man? They won't even answer. They never did. Like, the fuck I look like treating you and being at your beck and call. That's when you got to get rid of that person. Even if they say, hey, my mother never taught me, it is probably not going to work, right? You have been infected by what the system has bred. And your dating life, your love life, it'll be just like Halle Berry, up and down, up and see, and it'll be full of more trauma because you don't know how to pair bond with a man, right? Motherfucker gave you the keys, the blueprint, the cheat code on how to make this relationship better. You're just like, all right, well, fuck you. I brought myself to the table. And you're like, okay. And then as you keep going on through life, you start to realize that, hey, these men, but mentally, most women, they're not going to take accountability. They're still going to say, men ain't shit, men this, it's all men's fault. And how can you say men ain't shit? How can you say men ain't shit? All men are this. I tell women all the time, most men are marriage minded. I know, I'm a man. Most men are marriage minded. When they have a wife, they're going to wife her. And they're going to start a family with that woman. You're not a wife, so that's why you don't have a family. You just got a bunch of kids. Do you see the difference? So all the women in the comment section, it's kind of like, this man, he's a family man. This is a family man you're talking about. He knows what he's talking about. You gonna say, oh, he hates himself. Look, he got him with a Latina. Man, no. I got with somebody, I got with a wife. That's who I got with. Salute to Jordan Brilliant. I appreciate it. All right, man. I'm over and I'm out. I see you guys on Patreon. Peace.